When you look at the oceans, they seem so vast that you think to yourself, how could people possibly fish out the oceans? Most of the ocean is biologically a desert. The life is there, but it's very, very sparse.
%90 of the big fish in the world's oceans are gone. All this in 50 years, in my lifetime. We have had more impact on the wildlife in the sea than during all preceding human history.
Wild salmon are sacred to my community. My parents, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents. All of them depended on salmon for their health and their survival. My own family is no different. We count on these salmon.
As the demand for seafood increases, along with the fishing power of the global fleet, the question becomes, can the oceans keep up with the hunt? Many of the fish species we depend on are in serious trouble as we enter the 21st century, and the situation is becoming more critical every day. As fish populations closer to home are depleted, seafood is being flown into wholesale markets from remote locations halfway around the world, where fish, for the time being, can still be caught. But even in the most remote locations and in the deep waters of the open ocean, fish populations are being exhausted, one after another, by vessels using space-age tracking technology, dragging nets that sweep vast areas of ocean floor, and deploying miles and miles of baited hooks.
When I started fishing, there were a lot of fish. I think that the greatest difficulty has certainly been when you know what you know about fishing and you know you've got the information and you're doing the right thing and you go out and there's still nothing there.
It's not here anymore. It's all gone. It's just unbelievable, the swordfish you catch. And right close, you know, but you didn't have to go very far to get them.
Simply put, the fish cannot reproduce quickly enough to keep up with an ever-intensifying hunt, feeding an ever-growing human population.
Many of the collapses that we've seen, many of the new changes that are happening in oceans are a consequence of activities that people have always engaged in. It's just at a much greater rate and a faster scale.
Illegal fishing is also contributing to the decline of fish populations. Species like Patagonian toothfish, marketed as Chilean sea bass, are being fished into commercial extinction by pirate fishermen. Because international treaties are hard to enforce on the open ocean, pirate vessels illegally catch immense volumes of fish that find their way into wholesale markets around the world. Despite the intensified effort, there is evidence that the global catch has been decreasing since the 1980s, a decline that many scientists believe would be more apparent were it not for the capture of species considered unmarketable a decade ago. As larger fish disappear, the global fleet is targeting smaller fish at the lower rungs of the marine food chain. Because these species are the prey of larger fish and other marine life, their wholesale removal may cause even further collapses. Also contributing to overall declines is the unintended capture of fish and other species which never even reach the marketplace. Each year, over 20 million metric tons of untargeted marine life, so-called bycatch, are discarded as waste, a volume equal to 4 times the entire catch of the U.S. fishing fleet. The amount of bycatch differs with each type of fishery, but among the worst are shrimp trawls. U.S. shrimpers are working hard to reduce this waste, but worldwide, on average, over 5 pounds of untargeted marine life are discarded for each pound of shrimp caught. Many scientists now believe that the fishing gear commonly used to catch shrimp and bottom fish like cod and haddock can cause long-term damage to sensitive marine ecosystems as the nets are dragged along the sea floor, trapping everything in their path. Of equal concern is the world's vast fleet of longliner vessels that can each deploy up to 60 miles of baited hooks, snagging endangered sea turtles, sharks, juvenile fish, and other untargeted marine life. Although fishermen try to limit the bycatch, attempts at making this gear more selective have had limited success. Fortunately, not all fishing methods and gear pose a threat to the ocean's bounty. Some New England fishermen are now catching cod the way it was done before the advent of trawling, by simply using hook and line.
A hook fisherman uses a baited hook to catch a single fish and leaves the habitat from which that fish came completely intact, ensuring a place for other fish to grow up, instead of plowing it over and then saying, "Whoa, where's all the fish?" Well, hey man, you wrecked their home, they've moved on, if they're still around.
As we enter the 21st century, the international fleet is estimated to have more than twice the capacity needed to fish the oceans in a manner that can be sustained.
Fish stocks are in such bad shape in so many cases that we've got to stop fishing those fish to have any hope of bringing them back. And that, of course, raises the question of, well, what are we going to do?